It's the 8th of October 2000. We're at the Suzuka circuit in Japan, the penultimate race of the first Formula One championship in the new millennium. German driver Michael Schumacher sits 8 points ahead of rival Mika Häkkinen at the top of the championship table in the red of Ferrari. Some of you may know the outcome of this race and what it would mean for Schumacher and his team. But why is this race so important? Why are Ferrari anxious? What's the story behind this team and this driver? To understand the context behind this significant moment, we have to rewind. The main focus of this story is, well, Ferrari. Up until this point, the last time a driver had won the Formula One championship was way back in 1979, when the South African Jody Scheckter claimed the title. That's 21 long years of pain for Ferrari. They had come close before. In 1990, on this exact same circuit, driver Alain Prost was in the hunt for the title, when on the first corner of the first lap, rival Ayrton Senna pelted the Frenchman out of the race and out of the championship hunt. Just last year, again at Suzuka, Eddie Irvine led the championship in his Ferrari ahead of Mika Häkkinen by 4 points. He only managed to get third place in the race, whilst Häkkinen won, surrendering the title to the Finn. But the 80s and the 90s were full of heartbreaking moments for the Italian side. In 1982, the legendary and beloved driver Gilles Villeneuve lost his life following an accident during the qualifying for the Belgian Grand Prix. Just 3 months later, teammate and championship leader Didier Pironi crashed during qualifying for the German Grand Prix at Hockenheim, breaking both his legs and spelt the end of his Formula One career. The performances of both, along with replacements Mario Andretti and Patrick Tambay, was enough for Ferrari to take home the Constructors' title. A year later, they once again took home the Constructors' title, despite none of their drivers being in serious contention for the challenging the Drivers' title. Apart from a 2-race span where René Arnoux came from out of nowhere to be 2 points behind Prost with 2 races to go. But again, no World Drivers' Championship. The Ferrari team would only win a combined 9 races in the next 6 years, rounding off a horrendous 80s for Ferrari. One of those wins came at the hands of Gerhard Berger at Monza in September of 1988, 1 month after legendary team owner and founder Enzo Ferrari passed away at the age of 90. It was their first home win in 9 years. The 90s didn't go so well for Ferrari either. Despite signing the then 3-time world champion Alain Prost and future world champion Nigel Mansell for the beginning of the 1990 season, as well as producing one of the most iconic machines ever built, Prost would lose the championship to his Brazilian rival. Nigel Mansell would leave the team after being furious that his chassis was swapped with the chassis on Prost's car going into the British Grand Prix. The very next year, Alain Prost openly criticised the Ferrari 643, stating that a truck would be easier to drive than his car. The relationship had turned toxic. Ferrari refused to give him the tyres he wanted, and with just 1 race to go in 91, he was sacked. Both Mansell and Prost would go on to win championships away from Ferrari after this. Between the 91 and 93 championships, Ferrari won a grand total of 0 races. Then for the 94 season, CEO Luca De Montezemolo recruited the director of Peugeot Sport, Jean Todt, to become general manager. Having seen his Peugeot team win multiple World Rally Championships in the 80s and 2 Le Mans victories in 92 and 93, he became the first non-Italian to lead the Scuderia Ferrari Team and to be challenged to lead them to greatness. Jean Todt and Ferrari would win just 1 race in both 94 and 95, despite the efforts of John Alesi and Gerhard Berger. Their car was clearly not good enough to compete with the Williams cars and the Benetton of a young Michael Schumacher. The young, tenacious and exciting German had just won both Drivers' World Championships in an underdog, Benetton car, and Jean Todt went to Michael with the enticing idea of building something magical. An idea that would see Michael risk his best years with a team who had only won 2 races in 6 years. But the allure of the prancing horse was enough for Michael to make the switch, along with young Northern Irishman Eddie Irvine coming in from Team Jordan. And in '96, Schumacher became only the second Ferrari driver in 17 years to win the Italian Grand Prix. In '97, Schumacher would lead a dramatic title challenge against Williams driver Jacques Villeneuve, the son of former Ferrari legend Gilles Villeneuve. With just 22 laps remaining, in the final race of the season, Villeneuve attempted an overtake on Schumacher on the sharp right-hand corner. Schumacher, seemingly caught off guard by the Canadian, deliberately turned in on the Williams car.
I wonder if he's got something like a slow puncture or some kind of gear shift problem, because Villeneuve is all over him. Look, he's going through. Oh yes. I don't think.
Out goes Michael Schumacher.
That didn't work. That didn't work, Michael. You hit the wrong part of him, my friend.
Michael was left stuck in a gravel trap, watching on as his rival would go on to win the championship. Schumacher himself would later be disqualified from the World Championship for his actions by FIA President Max Mosley, who had promised to issue penalties on whoever tried to influence the outcome of the championship. In 1999, Schumacher crashed heavily in qualifying at Silverstone, breaking his leg in the process, which meant he had to sit out the next 6 races. Teammate Eddie Irvine took over the title challenge but was unable to get the job done, as mentioned before. In the span of 21 years, Ferrari experienced a full roller coaster of emotions, from the Monza win in '88, to having lost both of their star drivers in '82, to having a 3-time world champion denounce your fabled car. They sat and watched as 11 different drivers won world championships in rival cars, and several seasons without a single race win. Recently, they made the right moves, got a bit of luck, and then all their hard work finally paid off.
A brilliant race for Michael Schumacher, who exits the chicane for the 53rd and last time to win the 2000 Japanese Grand Prix and the World Championship for the 3rd time, to give Ferrari and Italy their dream. And look, he knows it. He is absolutely beside himself with joy.